Good evening, everybody. I'm just double checking the microphone is the right diddly. There we go. Good evening, everybody. That should be better now. I think I got the right microphone on. Should have checked that before I started, but I didn't even think about it till I literally just picked up the microphone then. Whoops. Good evening. How is everyone? It is season 10, episode 9 by the looks of it. And I am back from another short little break and being all that unwell. Doing a lot better now. Good evening, Antisocial. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Good evening, Marcus. And I believe Chris was here and anyone else that's in the background there. Yeah, so I'm doing much better. You can probably hear it in my voice. I've got more energy. I've got more breath in me. I'm doing a lot better in my chest. It is fantastic, to be honest. Like, I was really, really not great for a long time, wasn't I? It was like, it was just taken out of me. I was so tired. I'm still a little bit tired, and like I still got this nasty pain in my chest. So I've like pulled a ligament or damaged a ligament attached to the lungs and stuff. And obviously my lung being stuck to my rib cage, it's sort of not a great situation. So that's all. Like I've got this big swollen lump at the top of my just under my collarbone, basically. It's really quite weird. It's a big solid hard lump, and that's basically my swollen ligament. Oh, that beetle might fall. Is he good? No, he's all right. He's all right. I thought, you know, they do fall occasionally. That's why that bit's hanging over the tank. So yeah, I've still got that, and I've still got a few other painful things going on and whatnot. I'm still a bit tired, but all in all, I'm 100 million times better than I was, and it's fantastic to be back in a little way. So yeah, I have been back working my butt off, trying to catch up on everything, because obviously I did fall a little bit behind on a few things. Not so much like the shop and the orders and things like that. We always try and keep that up to date as best as we can, obviously, because you don't want to start falling behind on that. But just like the other work that I wanted to do and like other things we got going on, like, I've had so much on the back burner for so long now. It's fantastic to finally start getting on with it. I will start telling you about some of it in a little bit. New ventures, we could call it. Not new ventures, but it is. It is. But I'm not going to be any less focused on the ants or the shows or anything like that. But we have started some more new things. In fact, let's just go into it right now. We'll skip. I'll move my things about. We'll just talk about that now. So new things that I started to do. Obviously, we run the ant store and we run our events. Like, so we've been looking at, and the Weymouth event is a very different type of event to our ant events. It's more the showcase of the local history, the culture, nature, everything from around my local area. Sort of like a craft fair, sort of like a festival. It's not an ant show. like the other two are. It's very much different, especially this year where I've really kind of pushed it to be different and put completely different acts in. We've got like the No Fort coming to do a history display. We've got a load of pirates turning up to invade just after that, and it's going to be pretty amazing. We got like local wildlife people come in to show off what's in the local area. We might have an artillery display. I'm still working on that and negotiating it with them, and other cool things like that, which are all sort of related to the local area. Obviously heavily involved in the Civil War, Weymouth was, so we want to showcase some of that history. So yeah, it is a very different show, and we've always talked about if we wanted to host more local events which weren't necessarily ant events, because I mean, I come from a music background myself, so I've always sort of had it on the back burner that one day I might start hosting some gigs and promoting gigs. So that might happen. So we've looked into other types of events, like I say, not just gigs or things, but just what I can do event wise. And like, so yeah, like we're looking at how to separate the sort of the events. It seems like I'm going to start a new website, a new company name to separate things from the ants, if you know what I mean. So all my other events will go on that website, and then my ant events will stay on the ant website. And I think that will really sort of split the difference then, because I think at the minute people are looking at the Weymouth one saying, oh, that looks like an interesting show, but why is it hosted by an ant guy, if you know what I mean? And it's sort of that confusion about it, and then they look at it and they're like, they look at the other shows and they see that shows, and I think it is generating a bit of confusion. I don't know, if you've got an opinion, feel free to chuck it into the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about it, because obviously I do run off what other people say a lot, but yeah, I think that's a good move forward. If we're looking at hosting more events, you know, types of events, then I think having a separate sort of company as such for just like event promotion would be useful. It is a cool venture. Obviously, I want to up the ant events as well, which, like, if I started adding more ant events and adding more other events, I think it would generate a lot of confusion. But yeah, because basically as my events have carried on, I've grown more and more contacts. Like, I could pretty much just like put down the money and stuff right now and just host a gig. I've got enough contacts, you know what I mean? Or I could put on a craft fair right now because I know enough traders. I've got venues, and like I've got the infrastructure behind me now, if you know what I mean. So it does seem like a good idea to sort of push that a little bit more, especially as I do enjoy doing it. And it seems, I won't say I'm good at doing it, but I'm definitely learning how to do it better with every show that I host. So yeah, I think that's a good direction to go. And then something else completely different that we've done is my daughter, Kayla, my eldest daughter. Now, if you've been to one of our Bristol or Weymouth shows, you would have met Kayla. She's fantastic. She's very switched on, very mature. Now, she's opened her own small business running a pick and mix company. Now, you might ask how that works, but quite honestly, it's going to be mainly at the events that I host, and like I'll take her along with me, and she'll have her own little pitch. We'll pay for her pitch, and she can sell pick and mix sweets. We are going to be releasing the website as well, because you can order them, but it's not, I think the pick and mix won't go so much on the website. There'll be more the events that will sell pick and mix, but we're going to have like boxes, like night in boxes, where you can get in, like, there's going to be like cans of drink, like candy drinks, not like Monster or cans of Coke, but like Panda Pops and, you know, the candy drinks, and then packets of biscuits and sweets and stuff like that. So like night in boxes, and there'll be stuff like that, like some cool little gifts and things like that. So yeah, she started that, and that's pretty cool. But obviously I'm helping and overseeing that, and it will come under, like, obviously it's registered my name and everything, so it's another one of my businesses. It's in this week alone I could end up starting like 2 new companies, and yeah, but it's all good. So yeah, multiple companies now seems to be the way forward. I'm not anymore, like I say, any less concentrated on what I'm doing at any given moment. It just seems I'm splitting my brain slightly more. But honestly, like I'm leaving a lot of it to Kayla. I'm giving her advice and telling her what she needs to do and whatnot. But she is in charge of her store and how it runs and the finances. She knows that if she eats all of her sweets, she won't have any money, any sweets left to make money, etc., etc. And she's doing really well with it. She hasn't touched any of the money that she's made yet, and she has started making sales. She's made nearly, I don't know how much money. I won't say how many sales, but she's made like she's making all right. Not she's not going to make enough to live off, but you know what I mean. For a bit of pocket money, she's doing all right, and it's encouraging to see that she's taken that on at such a young age. She's only 11, and if she's starting a business now, you know, by the time she's my age, hopefully she'll be doing something amazing. I don't know. But you know what I mean. So yeah, that's a new thing. That's called K's Sweet Sanctuary. You'll see me posting about it and sharing posts. She's writing up a lot of them, and then I'm helping, obviously, post them for her. She's done a lot of the design work and things like that. And then, so we did have the logo designed, and then Corey's Crawleys, I can never say it because I've got no teeth, came along and said, you need a really good logo, here you go, and he redid it for us, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So I've got to shout out him for that, giving us a free logo for my daughter. That's, you know, he's pretty spot on and very kind of them, because they do cost a fair bit getting things like that done. And I can be honest and say I am not arty at all and no good at things like that, but yeah, very cool of him. So yeah, we got a few new ventures and things going on. I've got a few other ideas as well that I am working on, but I'm not going to release anything on that until I'm pretty much solidly going to do it. You know, my notebook is about 5 pages deep from just today, and it seems to be like that every day at the minute. Like the whole of these last few months that I've been pretty much led. Good evening, Chris. The whole of these last few months that I've been led up in bed, like pretty much like just resting, my brain has been working, and now it's just a matter of getting it all out on paper and making it happen, you know. See, the problem with me is like the more I sit down, the more I want to do, and then I work myself till I have to sit down again. But yeah, that's just the way it's going to be, I think, and I think we could deal with that. Like I'm enjoying it. It's going to keep things interesting, keep me on my toes and busy and concentrated, which is something I need right now for myself. So yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be an interesting year or two. And I say we've got a few other things that we're interested in and we've talked about in the past, and it's just been a matter of committing to doing multiple things, which I seem to be doing anyways now. So it's about having the infrastructure around you, you know what I mean? I've got a very good team of support, like some really good staff. I've got obviously my family, they're absolutely amazing as well, and all my kids are like so intelligent and switched on. I can pretty much leave them to run a business, and they can. It's amazing. So it's not, you know, it's not just me solely on my own opening business after business after business, because that would be ridiculous and I would be overwhelmed. But we've got some good infrastructure around us to do these things, you know what I mean? I thought about it long and hard before I started to do more, because I don't want to stretch myself too thin now. I know like my health is a priority. I have to look after myself. I have to take time to rest. But I do think like these are going to be some positive move forward. And obviously, like with moving forward into things like this, it will, what's the word? It will help solidify things a bit more with the business as such. Like, no, I can't even explain what I mean, but I know what I mean. So anyways, let's move on away from this, because we've talked about what I've been up to for a little while now, and let's talk about some other things. So nearly lost my words. There's the dives right in front of us, Polyracus dives. Obviously, they are heading over the bridge to a feed-in at the minute. We've just chucked in like 40, maybe 50 wax worms for them. So they're having a little feast. And I say little because that is literally nothing to them. It doesn't even touch the sides. They go through that in a day and still be hungry. And I actually cannot like overfeed them at the minute. They just eat absolutely everything I chuck in. We chucked in 2 whole mice the other day. They were gone overnight. Obviously, whole pork chops disappear in a day or so. Like, so they're very, very hungry at the minute. I have seen wings again lately, so it means that they're heading towards that great nuptial flight that we are waiting for. Obviously, I will be catching queens as they come out, and hopefully they're fertile at that one. Don't catch them as they come out. I catch them as they land and they start ripping off their wings, and I see them on my walls and stuff. And I'm like, quick, grab a tube, grab the box. And, and then we wait to see if they start laying and whatnot. So yeah, that's exciting. I cannot wait. I have a much better view than you do, so I'm looking at the whole of the 3 tanks at the minute. It is absolutely buzzing with activity. The big nest at the back seems to have been expanded again lately, but honestly, I can't tell that well because I need to do a massive cutback in the main tank. I just haven't got round to it. Like I said, I've been absolutely hectic this week, mainly with phone calls and meetings and stuff. I've got a whole nother week of phone calls and meetings and heading out round different places for viewing things and whatnot. It's always good fun, and like, I don't mind it, but I'd much rather be here, like, messing with the ants than sat in someone's office going, oh, yes, very nice. The annoying thing about some of these meetings is, like, I have to travel, and, like, bear in mind, I don't drive, so a lot of it's, like, on the train and whatnot, or I get someone else to drive me. And quite often we'll drive for, like, an hour or two, get there, meet them, go, oh, yeah, thank you, shake your hand, bye. And they don't even want to like show you around and like do anything. They're just like, okay, thanks for coming. Like, I think they just want to know you're a real person, I suppose. I don't know, but it's like it's okay, but like there's a much better use of my time than traveling a couple of hours to shake someone's hand. You know what I mean? But it's all part of it. Shaking hands is an integral part of business, apparently. Oh dear. What else is going on? The leaf cutters. So I have built this like cool spiral thing for the leaf cutters. I'll show it properly at the next chat show. It's really awkward to get a view on it at the minute because of the way I've placed the leaf today. Apparently it just doesn't work. I did try. So the idea is I've basically made this like corkscrew thing going up out of what was their feeding pod. And it extends just a few inches above the top of the feeding pod, enough for me to put like another whole massive feeding area on top, if you know what I mean, because it will then sit on top of all 3 pods and just fully enclose the top of the box. So that will go up inside of this other box, and I'm hoping to like have a bridge off either side so that it's in the box, and then I'll talcum up the bottom of the box where the hole is, etc. So it just gives them that expansion that they will be needing soon. Obviously they are quite a strong colony. The fungus is a little bit small at the moment, but that's okay. It is coming back rather nicely, so I am looking ahead. And when it was at its full size before, I was just about to start expanding them at that point. So I thought I may as well get on it now whilst I've got a little bit of sort of brain power about me to get it done. I'm just looking at it. It is very cool to see because now they're in the open air, if you know what I mean. I can literally, I can breathe on these ants. Like, they're not in an enclosure technically. They're climbing up out of the enclosure and being fed in open air. And it is really cool to see. And like, it's exactly what you want when you've got leaf cutters. You know what I mean? It's, yeah. Well, that one, oh, no, he's not going to fall. He's not. It is like leaf overhanging the edges, and they're cutting it. And I was wondering if he was going to cut it and fall down, but no, he's fine. He's going back up. See, you don't really have to. They don't fall that often. They don't like cut the leaf and then fool with themselves on it very often. Like it does happen, but very, very rarely in comparison to like how they should do it. You know, I suppose like you don't want to like. It's a bit of a shock, isn't it? Like you cut. Whoa, gone. It's it's not what you want. You want to be able to like carefully bring that piece of leaf down and not fall in the process. I suppose the bridge is getting a bit busy. It always gets busy on feeding days. Obviously, that's a silly statement to make, but it is. I thought about it the other day. Like some of my colonies, right? So I could sit here and watch this screen for about a minute and probably see more ants than I've got in some of my other colonies altogether. Like it's just ridiculous. There's so many of them in there. I'd love to get in and like count, or no, I'd love to like miniaturize myself and like put on some kind of protective force field suit, like and go in and see what the nest is all like on the inside, and that'd be pretty awesome, wouldn't it? But I don't think you can do that. They haven't really invented that technology yet. They should. There's definitely enough films about it. Why hasn't someone done it? We should email Elon Musk and ask him to work on it or something. He's probably got the team of scientists. Run, beetle, run. Yeah, that's it. How many beetles can we see? Is that 2 or 3 there? I think that's 3, but they're sort of clustered. I don't know. There's a lot of ants in that little gap. Anyways, so I was sat here the other day and the wife came in and was like, oh, there's an ant behind you. I looked behind me and there was a lot of ants behind me. And it turns out my Nicos were getting out. So I looked at the Nico enclosure and instantly I saw it. Basically, the port that I had blocked up with cotton wool, they had pushed the cotton wool to the side and they were just pouring out. And now, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure how many Nicos I had. I thought I'd probably got like a few hundred in there, maybe close to 500. Probably more than that, like looking at it now. So we definitely had so much brood in the summer, like last summer. So I don't know. But and then like they got out and they were just everywhere, like literally hundreds and hundreds of them. I was basically like sweeping the whole lot up and just putting them back into the outworld. Like there was just tons of them. But it took me a good like 10 minutes of tidying them up before I started getting individual ants, put it that way. And yeah, just more than I ever expected to be in there. I know Nicos expand really fast. That's an obvious, come on. But like really, there was a lot. Now, so this is single queen colony. I'm thinking what to do with them next. Obviously, I got them all back into the enclosure and I closed up the gap. But I'm thinking there's a lot of them. I would like to expand them at least to a different outworld. Now, annoyingly, the Inner Ants Canada set up at the moment, and he uses really awkward sized tubing, which I do actually have some of. It fits perfectly, but it doesn't attach to anything else that I use. So I'm going to have to design a whole new enclosure, or just change the enclosure that I've already got to fit the holes. Whatever, you know what I mean. Print that off and make it and whatnot. And then I'm thinking that this tube that I've got is like 40 foot or something. So I could literally run it pretty much anywhere in this room, and there's probably more than enough Nicos that they'll trail long enough. As long as you keep it under about 5 to 10 meters, you should be all right, like creating fairly long trails with them at this size. So yeah, I might give that a go, have it go like halfway around the room and ants running around the roof. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Until they get out. But yeah, so Nicos, we're going to have Nicos on the store. I think next week we're releasing them from quarantine. We've got all sorts of things in quarantine at the minute, so do check out the store over the next few weeks for more and more ants and insects being added. I have just added some more species of tarantula. You've got versicolor and some OBTs as well. 3D print a plug with an 8mm hole and a connector. See, no, that's tempting, but they do. Honestly, the larger tube actually works really well for the Nikos because there's vast quantities of them, and because of majors as well. It just looks really cool having that extra wide bit of tubing for them, to be honest. So I'll probably keep it the same, Marcus. I'm not too worried. Um, but yeah, I could do a connector for the Outworld, I suppose. That's a thought. That's probably what you meant in the first place. Um, yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, we have already got connectors. Oh, well done, Marcus. You might have just solved the issue. So yeah, we'll have a think of that. But yeah, so we've just added some more tarantulas. We've added some more mantises. I've got to get pictures of them all yet, but I've done the descriptions. But the pictures is always the hardest part, especially with the tarantulas, because they don't like to stand still for very long. And you're trying to take a picture, and then you gotta get the paintbrush and herd it back to where you want it, and then you try and take a note, and then move in. It's like, stop moving. So just stop. You stop, quickly take the picture, and then it's a nightmare. So pictures will come. Pictures will come as soon as I get around to sort of really concentrating on doing it. I think I'm going to have to get like a catch bowl, put the thing inside the catch bowl, and try and. But then you get the shine and reflection from that. It's just a nightmare. I hate taking pictures. Absolutely hate it. Is one thing I can't do. So yeah, just keep your eye on the website. Jumping spiders, yes, Marcus. Jumping spiders are absolutely fantastic. Like I say, keep your eye on the website for the next few couple of weeks. Some of my epic OBT picks. How can you get epic OBT picks? Like, I'm opening the thing and they're running up my arm before I get them on the 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 picture takey area. Like, it's just absolutely insane. You're gonna have to tell me your tricks, Chris. Is it like, I don't know, you like, I honestly don't know. I can't even think how to do it. They're just absolutely so fast. The Versicolor were the same. They're just like so scatty. The thing is, they're slings as well, so they are really fast and scatty. You know what I mean? And the mantises, like, they're not too bad if you get them to stand on something, or even with some food, they're all right. But if they're in a sort of jumpy mood, they are in a jumpy mood, and that is that. Um, but yeah, so there's lots of things going on in the store at the minute. We will be adding on some new enclosures and some accessories as well. Some of them won't have their own product thing, but they'll just be variations on the other products. So like our feeding dishes, we now have a double feeding dish. So that would just be added on as a variation of our feeding dishes. So have a good look through over the next few weeks. I'll be keeping adding more and more products, and then I'll do like a final release post when I've uploaded them all, sort of thing. Obviously, we've been working on all sorts back here, been testing products and working on new sort of accessories and things like that for a little while. Some of them I'm still not going to release because I'm still waiting for more results from testing, just to make sure that everything's happy, like all the ventilation's fine and things like that. But there is some that I'm happy to release already. Need another OBT or two my week. Oh no. Oh well, Chris, you have to have a look on the website. You know. Oh no, that is a shame. I hate hearing that. See, all of my tarantulas, I can gladly say, are doing really well at the minute. My three Goliaths are doing really well. In fact, I'm looking at my vegans right now. He's doing really well. I always get the name wrong, but my golden leg baboon, I've got two of them, right? I've got them both at the same time. One of them's grown. I'm guessing one of them's male, one of them's female, but one of them's grown like really decent size already, and the other one's still quite small, so I'm guessing the smaller one's going to be a female, hopefully, because I'm feeding them at the same times every week, you know, same amount, same time. They've got the same conditions, but the first one's grown like literally double the size of this one, so I'm going to assume that's a male and he's going to grow a bit faster. But they're absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful spiders. What else we got? We got my Numando chromatus. I've got two of those. Again, one of those is now, I think, full size. He is absolutely spectacular. I don't know if they're male or female. I'm hoping I've got a male and a female. And yeah, but obviously I'm happy with whatever. But if I can make a breeding project out of them, then even better. even better. My jumping spider's doing well. My dwarf tarantula's pumpkin patch is doing really well. In fact, I saw him the other day, and like you don't normally get to see the pumpkin patch because he's in a bioactive enclosure and he's so small. You don't normally get to see him, but he was just sat there on the log, and I could like it was really cool to just see him just sat there. They are very pretty spiders, tarantulas. You shouldn't call them spiders, but yeah. We got some new stick insects to go on the website soon as well. I can't even remember what else. All sorts of bits and bobs coming in and going and doing things, and I feel like that was going to burst into song somehow. My trap jaws, I need to so the termites are now in the same tank as the trap jaws. Probably a stupid mistake of mine. I keep meaning to take the termites out and put them into that tank, but I need to get that tank down and fill it out with wood. The trap jaws haven't noticed the termites, and there's been so little activity above ground from the trap jaws. I'm not too concerned, but I will get on it probably in the next day or so. Again, it just involves me having the time to get everything down and sort of get it all out and away again, because everything has to be packed away. That's unpacked, do the job, pack everything away. It makes everything take twice as long trying to be tidy. But I have made since becoming well again, I have made a considerable effort, you could say, to not change my life or how I'm living, but I am sort of trying to make that extra effort to be more on things, like just the simple things like that. Like my desk. Sometimes my desk gets quite cluttered. Like I have paperwork everywhere, or you know what I mean, or I can't find my pen because it's under like a mountain of paper that's fallen over. So things like that, just like when I'm done with my paper, file it straight away rather than leaving it till the end of the day. Just sort of, like I say, if I can change my mindset to be a bit more proactive and organized at home, then it all translates into the business, doesn't it? At the end of the day, uh, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Nice, clean office, tidy desk, tidy mind, or whatever they say. I don't know. You lost your female jumper last week, Marcus. That sucks. It seems like it's that. I suppose it's been a while since we got a lot of these animals. If especially things like jumping spiders. I remember you getting that jumping spider. Um, they don't last that long. That's the problem with jumping spiders, I suppose. But and my main list is Niger. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is one of the. I think as well. I've heard of a few Lasius niger colonies not making it over the last few weeks, and I'm wondering whether it's like they're just running out of steam or something. I don't know. All of ours are fine. I've got a whole shelf full of them back here, but I don't know. I've had a few reports of people just for no reason their colonies are just not going anymore, and it's like, oh, that's really weird, especially with Lasius niger, because obviously they're really hardy and really easy. But I tend to just say, if they're not doing anything, leave them to not do anything. Don't try and feed them or nothing for any extra week. Let them build up that hunger. And did you just see that dive escape? There he is. Cheeky bugger. Is he going back in? He might. Oh, no. You naughty ant. Naughty. He's going to climb on the camera in a minute. You wait. Oh, dear. What was I even saying? I can't even remember. Doesn't matter, I suppose. Guys, so distracting. If he falls in any direction, he'll fall into a tank. But he's just running along the. Oh, that's what we were talking about. The Lasius niger. Was doing better than my main one. No, even better with it. Yeah. See, now that is the thing. I mean, if your queen or whatever colony dies and you've got a second one, you may as well try and offer them the brood. Don't necessarily chuck it in the test tube with them, but if doing like a tubs and tube situation, just pour it out in front of the test tube and see if they take it in. If they do, it's only a bonus, and if they don't, they'll probably use it for protein anyways. Yeah, it is a massive shame, and like I said, I don't know why people have been having these issues this year. It's a bit odd, but it's just one of those things. I mean, quite often colonies die with very little explanation at all. Not even like any reason why they should die. They just do. And like I say, I tend to say if they stopped feeding, give them an extra week of just not touching, don't look at them, don't disturb them, because they might just have lots of food stored up, or they might just want some peace and quiet. Quite frankly, but like, yeah, if they're gonna starve themselves, they will starve themselves. Yeah, you are the Brood King, Marcus. Yeah, I thought that said Burger King when I first read it, and I was like, hang on, what? I had to read it again. If he was the Burger King, I'd be like, let's have a burger. But the problem with Burger King, right, is it's like 10 times more expensive than McDonald's. Like, McDonald's is all right, Burger King's amazing, but it's the price difference. It's like, duh. I mean, I always look forward to, like, I'm always like, oh, I'm going to go down, go get a Burger King, go treat myself to a Burger King. And then I get there, I look at the price, I'm like, bloody £8 for a burger. No, I'm going to McDonald's around the corner. And I end up buying one of their cheap ones. Not even a cheap one, because a Big Mac's still like a couple of quid or whatever, but it's like half the price or even less than half the price of Burger King. Not the same quality, obviously, but God. God. We have got a Burger King in Weymouth. I always forget that because we've got one Burger King in like 10 McDonald's or something. No, not 10, but about 3 or 4. I don't know. And like it's all the way on the other side of town. Like it's not even in town, it's right on the outskirts, on like the industrial estate. You proper have to travel to get there. And from what I hear, it's not been very well put together, which wouldn't surprise me for our local area. Like they have power issues and stuff like that quite often, from what I hear. So it's a bit of a nightmare. I don't think it's worth the extra walk when there's McDonald's all over the place. But to do anything like that, I got to go to Weymouth anyways. On Portland, we've got like a couple of Indians, a couple of Chineses, and a couple of fish and chips. Oh, and a kebab place, but that's about it. Yeah, all right. So we had some epic burgers for dinner last night. I do prefer to make my own. Obviously, just normal beef patty meat, but we did like hash browns and eggs. What else did I do? So I did hash browns, covered it in cheese. Then we put the eggs and covered that in cheese, and then we did um, fries, like normal fries, with a really thick cheese sauce over the top instead of just like melting. And then I did roasted carrots and roasted potatoes, covered them in cheese yet again, then cover them in breadcrumbs, let that roast off again, and like dish it up like that. It was amazing. And then what I do for like, I quite often buy in packets of donuts, and you get like 4 packets of 4 donuts in a pack, right? I tend to buy the jam ones and the ring ones because my 2 of my daughters prefer the ring ones, and now I prefer the jam ones, and so does Kayla. And wifey won't eat them anyway, so we tend to have some left over. So I then chuck them into a glass dish and I turn it into a bread and butter pudding. Really simple if you don't know how. Eggs and milk, a little bit of sugar over the top, job done pretty much. Let it soak in before you bake it. Job done. It's pretty much done for you. Normally you'd have to stand there buttering out slices of bread and whatnot. I just chuck in the donuts and it's amazing. So that was my meal last night. um, got my own secret herbs and spices. Oh, that sounds amazing, Chris. See, I do like cooking, and I like people that like. If you enjoy cooking like that, you do come up with some really good ideas. I used to really enjoy cooking, not so much anymore. I think a lot of us have. I was just about to say that. Like, I trained when I was meant to be in school, so instead of doing school, they put me into like extra sort of education things where I got to work on in a cafe on an industrial site, basically. And my cooking teacher was ex-Navy, and he was absolutely amazing. He could make anything out of anything, but he would like bring in like whole deers for us to gut and stuff, and we made these amazing liver burgers, liver and chili burgers. I'll never forget that. And just like I made like really cool meals, and that sort of sparked my passion for cooking. And that between my nan, really, my nan was a really good chef. Or is a really good chef, but like, so she's sort of old school with her cooking. So, like you're saying, Chris, herbs and spices and things. She won't really use a lot of herbs and spices, probably because she grew up like learning to cook just after the war when they didn't have many herbs and spices. But so a lot of her cooking's like just straight home food, nicely done. And then I sort of got the other backgrounds from the Navy cooking, where you learn to cook with anything to make anything. And then I've done gourmet stuff as well. So I've got a good range of experience when it comes to food. Um, and I do like cooking, but I find when it's a job, it just becomes too stressful, and you lose that passion. I think you like it's too easy to lose that passion for cooking unless you like that high pressured environment. Um, which I don't think I really did. I mean, I was even a baker for ages. I worked in a bakery during my teen years, and it was one of the most fantastic jobs I ever had. I used to get in, and like one of the first jobs would be make pasties, because we weren't just a small bakery. We were the one that sent out all the pasties to all the other bakeries. So it was like get in extra early, make like a million pasties, start sending them out in crates and whatnot into the vans, and then it would be like unloading the vans from like bags of flour and stuff like that. Then I'd be like making cakes or whatnot, and then they'd be like you can eat as many pasties as you want, because like we'd send a load out, but then we keep like hundreds in stores. So I could eat as many pasties as I want after we had made them and started shipping them out, as long as I continued my work. So it would be like pasty break. No. Like I used to smoke in these days as well, and like I'd have a pasty over a cigarette most of the time, which is something, you know. So pasty break, and then lunch would come. Like so, if I was like doing the cakes, I like so before I did this as like an apprenticeship. I was in school for like 4 or 5 months. I think I made it in that school, whatnot. And in one of the English classes, I can't even remember the girl's name, but there was a girl that sat opposite me in English class. When I went and worked in the bakery, I was working with her mum. So we were basically just chatting shit about her daughter all the time. Excuse my language. But yeah, so like we were doing like eclairs and stuff like that. And then they'd be like, right, it's lunchtime now. Take a cake. And, oh my god, what cake do I want to go on top of all my pasties? It's like, and then at the end of the day, like 4 or 5 o'clock, you could take stuff home, and I would generally be like, I want that and that and that, and then at the end of the week, you get paid. So it's like they're feeding me and they're paying me. All they gotta do is give me a place to live, and I'm never gonna leave, you know. Yeah, that was a good job. I do miss the bakery. I only did it for a little while. I was only a teen, you know, and then I moved on. Being in foster care at the time, like moving on between places. But obviously, being in foster care, they would set you up these sort of opportunities. If you weren't in education, they'd try and get you doing something, some kind of vocation. So I always found I was doing something, you know. Whether I wanted to or not, like the cooking, and I'd done motorbike mechanics and all sorts of stuff. Here, there, and sort of everywhere. Yeah, bacon's amazing. I mean, like before we had kids, like so for the first like 6 months or so of my relationship with my wife, because I was in my first ever flat, it was only this tiny little flat, you know, like it is when it's your first thing. In fact, I think my whole flat, like it was a masonette, so it was on 2 floors, but the whole living room and kitchen and everything was probably the same size as my office right now. That's insane. Wow. And then it had some stairs to go upstairs and had the same again. So I didn't tell the wife that I could cook for like the first 6 months or so. She did all the cooking in this tiny little kitchen. And then we moved into an even smaller flat. And like she did all the Christmas dinner in this tiny little kitchen where it was literally like you squeezed in and there was just about enough room for the oven in there. There was no work surface at all, and then there was a tiny little sink. That was it. That was the whole kitchen. It was like it was a cupboard basically. um and then we moved into our first proper flat together, which was a bit bigger. Like, it was so big when we first moved in, I ran round being an aeroplane just to have the space to run around being an aeroplane. I could reach my arms out, and it was amazing. It was a massive step up from where we had been, you know. And then I was just like, oh yeah, I trained as a chef for years. Let's do some cooking. And I did like loads of baking. I'd make pies, both meat and sweet, and like I do all sorts of stuff. And like she was just like, you never told me you could cook. Like, yeah, yeah, I can cook quite well. It is what it is, yeah. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm well hungry now. I've just talked about all of that food. Have I? Yeah, I have eaten this evening. What did I eat? I can't even remember. I better eat again then. I might actually have to make one of those burgers again. That sounds pretty good with the eggs and hash brown and loads of cheese. Loads of cheese. Can't go wrong. Like, cheese is becoming a real issue in this house because obviously everyone loves cheese, especially me, especially the wife, and all the kids like cheese. And then our youngest, Evie, has just started bringing us the cheese block with a spoon. She doesn't want slices of cheese anymore. She wants spoons of cheese to just. She doesn't nibble it, like nibble like a chunk. She will just put the whole spoon in her mouth and eat the block of cheese like that. Like, give her 10, maybe 20 minutes, the block would be gone on a spoon. I've never witnessed things like it. It's amazing. Like, we've got to hide the cheese. Like, we've already had to hide the milk for like the last year. And it's very annoying because like the rest of the house is warm, but she knows if it's in the fridge, it's there, and she will literally just drink the whole carton of milk. Like, we'll put it away and she'll bring it back. We'll put it away, she'll bring it back, and she gets very frustrated. It's just easier. It's not worth, like, some things are worth saying no, that's enough. But when, you know, some things are just not worth the arguments. Because there is no arguing with her, quite frankly. She just gets more and more frustrated, bless her. And yeah, so we've had to hide the milk for like the last year or so. It's currently in my office, literally like down the side of the desk here. Sorry. But we tend to go through it so fast, it's not an issue. We go through like one of the big things of milk every single day. 7 block at 500 gram. Yeah. See, that's it. Oh, bubbles? There's no bubbles in here, darling. And that's an Evie. Her talking's got absolutely fantastic. You think like this time, maybe 2 years ago, she couldn't talk at all. Like, it was amazing. So she's done fantastic, and now she comes out with songs and talking and just about everything. And like I say, she tells you what she wants. But like, yeah, it can be a little bit difficult for her to understand that we say no sometimes, I suppose. So yes, she's now eating cheese by the spoonful. She also likes to eat like sugar and stuff. If we can, like, if she gets hold of the sugar bowl, she'll start drinking it. And it's like, no. Oh, you're gonna give yourself diabetes. Obviously, we hide the sugar bowl now as well. So, and we have to lock the doors so she doesn't ever get out. Oh, it's an interesting life here. Keeps us on our toes, definitely. But it is good fun. It is good fun. Oh dear. Now, on that note, I am gonna head towards the end of this stream. So if you've got anything you want to say, anything you want to ask me, now is the time to put it in the comment section, and I will have a little read. It has been great to be back and having a little chat with you all. I think I've covered just about everything that I was going to talk about. And like I said, I've got a lot of ideas that I'm sort of working on at a minute, and whilst I've got the energy, I'm sort of committed to doing it and committed to sort of, like I say, changing that mindset of whatever. I'm trying not to nap throughout the day as well. I'm trying to commit to having earlier nights and not napping so much throughout the day. I'm having like short little rests and breaks, and like I'm sitting down and putting on a game for an hour or so and just saying I'm having a break from work, which is really helpful actually, because then I can come back, I put on some nice music or something, and I'll start my work again. But yeah, so it's yeah. Yeah, thank you all for coming in, listening to me chat absolute rubbish. It has been fantastic. I say I always enjoy these conversations. Just chatting rubbish, I suppose. Please do check out the store over the next few weeks. I'll also be updating all the information on the events on the website, because I think I need to rewrite the Jurassic Coast one for a start. But I think a complete overhaul of the events and how I'm sort of promoting them might be beneficial, really. And like I say, doing that with the website and adding the further events. So yeah, keep your eyes on that. Keep your eyes on all these new things I'm sort of doing. And like I say, if you got any opinions or want to offer me any advice or guidance, please do. I'm always open and happy to receive. Never the master, always the student, I think is the right way to go about it. And the best way to learn is from other people. So yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Massive thank you to our sponsors, Answer Us and Valhalla Martial Arts, of course, absolutely fantastic. Doing another year of sponsorship. Massive thank you to our Patreon supporters, and a massive thank you to you, the viewers. But that is all from me. So as always, I'll see you again soon, Ant fans. Good night.